From brash young brawler to welterweight champion, Robbie Lawler has gone everywhere and done everything worth doing in MMA. He's also fought an awful lot of wrestlers and grapplers, and he never seemed to enjoy it much. This Saturday, Lawler will take on Colby Covington, one of the sport's most beloved figures, squaring off against one of its most hated. For SBN MMA, I'm Shaquille Majuri, and let's do this. Covington is not only a former teammate of Lawler's, but yet another in a long line of exhausting, frustrating, relentless wrestlers. Brutal Bob has his work cut out for him. Often these fights start out well enough. In 2004, Lawler slammed Evan Tanner on his head just before Tanner caught him in the triangle choke. Jake Shields took a minute of clobbering in 2009 before he found the guillotine and tapped Robbie out. And just this year, Ben Askren was nearly unconscious a couple minutes before the controversial bulldog choke that ended the fight. Lawler seems to have a moral objection to the very idea of wrestling. Nothing renders him more visibly frustrated than an opponent who won't leave him alone but doesn't want to trade punches. Frustration can make for good fighting fuel, but it is also the stuff mistakes are made of. In Robbie Lawler's case, you've likely noticed the pattern. In 2013, Lawler made his return to the UFC to fight Josh Koscheck. A touch past his best, Koscheck was nonetheless a top-notch wrestler. Just like Covington, he earned a D1 championship in college. Also like Covington, just about everyone watching was hoping desperately for Robbie to knock Koscheck out. Much to our chagrin, Koscheck scored one of his trademark double-leg takedowns less than 1 minute into the first round. Then something strange happened. Lawler found a butterfly hook, looped an arm under Koscheck's leg, lifted him into the air, and clambered back to his feet. More wrestling exchanges followed. Koscheck threatened a single, Lawler blocked his hips. Koscheck tried to crack him down, Lawler thwarted him with a Kimura grip and some very impressive balance. For several minutes they tangled, but Koscheck could not keep his man down. Then Robbie found his opening. He sprawled on another shot, sprang to his feet, and landed a thudding blow to Koscheck's ear. One burst of adrenaline and 6 brutal punches later, Lawler had not only survived one of the best wrestlers he'd ever faced, he pulverized him. He spent the next 3 years fighting the greatest fights of his career, stuffing takedowns better than ever and punishing them with ruthless intensity. With Colby Covington on the horizon, Lawler has been called on once again to teach a wrestler the meaning of violence. The question is, how much of championship Robbie remains? If Ben Askren's choke hadn't convinced the ref to wave the fight off before Robbie was done fighting, could he have come back the way he did against Koscheck? Or was the ghost of Jake Shields knocking? In the octagon, Colby Covington is a test of both mental and physical endurance. Whether or not Lawler can survive the physical pace likely has more to do with his training regimen than anything else. But when Covington wraps his arms around Lawler's legs and drives him into the fence and drags him to the ground and suffocates him under a pile of pink, sweaty skin, does Lawler still have the patience to ride out a bad position? Does he have the confidence to answer one attack after another, pushing one way only to suddenly pull in the other over and over again? Colby Covington hasn't reinvented the wheel. He is a wrestler who hides his shots behind a wall of brash aggression and flurrying strikes. Robbie Lawler can solve such a puzzle. Colby Covington isn't so different from Josh Koscheck or Johnny Hendricks, a frustrating, complicated knot just waiting to be slashed in two. But to do it, Lawler will need to display the same high-caliber combo of wrestling and grappling skills that took him from exciting journeyman to UFC champion, even though his championship days are behind him. One thing we can almost say for certain, Robbie Lawler is going to try to take Covington's head off right away. A sudden burst of violence can be a calculated way to start the fight with a boost of confidence. It can also signal desperation, begging the question, what happens when the first shot doesn't get the job done? If he's lucky, Colby won't get the same answer Josh Koscheck got. Who do you think has the best chance of getting their hand raised at UFC Newark? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more MMA goodness just like this.